Arc 3.0 is right around the corner, and we won't know much about the final set of subclass changes from this rework until the season actually begins. But just like in Solar 3.0, we're likely to see a few exotic changes just like Skyburner's Oath and Prometheus Lens did, making them work intrinsically with the updated subclass abilities. So what could we see change for Arc 3.0? Is a forgotten exotic going to become meta, or maybe a more recent addition becoming retuned to take a spot in the limelight? Just like Scorch, Ignition, Volatile or Freeze, we're probably going to see Arc equivalents come to the meta with terms such as Blind, Chain Lightning and Disorient, so let's take a quick look at which exotics I think will be taking a prime place in your Arc 3.0 builds next season. A recent This Week at Bungie blog update stated that a number of exotics will be getting intrinsic anti-champion capabilities, which with the endgame champion burnout hitting a number of players recently, this is going to become a welcome change. And with this change it lines up our first exotic that could get not only the anti-champion benefit, but also the full Arc 3.0 treatment. When Symmetry first arrived way back in Season of Dawn, some of you may remember that it could actually stun unstoppable champions with its Charged Revolution perk. This was swiftly fixed by Bungie as it wasn't actually anywhere in its description, which means it may possibly be an easy switch for Bungie to flick back on. Continuing along the lines of its charged up Revolution perk, the tracking Arc Seekers could also apply stacks of a static slowing effect on enemies, with the more Revolution charges the higher the amount of static applied, ultimately disorientating or blinding enemies. It wouldn't be too overpowered in PvP as the basic Revolution doesn't do enough damage anyway and would likely only deal a very small amount of the slowing debuff, but a fully charged Revolution could essentially deal with or counter the healing meta. Likewise in PvE content, it'll be extremely useful at dealing with groups of adds or larger enemies, slowing them down enough to make DPS strats even easier to apply. With exotic primaries becoming more popular in the sandbox recently, this one does kinda make some sense. Not only that, but Symmetry is hands down one of the sexiest looking exotics in the game, so what's not to like about a double whammy of exotic love shown to it by Bungie? Another one that's probably a little bit more obvious but is also probably going overlooked even as it stands right now is the exotic linear fusion rifle, the Queenbreaker. This one's primed and ready for Arc 3.0 and has been for a long time. Slap the Arc 3.0 blue text outline here and you're good to go. Queenbreaker has already been through its fair share of metas, from being insane in Gambit for invading thanks to its incredible aim assist and even not being shabby for certain DPS builds, but its blinding utility has also always been extremely useful. The wire rifle perk blinds enemies on hits, taking away their radar, briefly stunning them and making them unable to see momentarily. Despite it being a heavy weapon relying on the most sought after ammo economy, it could still do bits, especially if it ties into some new Arc 3.0 aspects or fragments, which maybe increase the area effect or duration of the blind. Blinding is probably going to become one of the main Arc 3.0 terms in the next subclass update, so this being on a heavy weapon may just balance it out in terms of its potency and use rate. Either way, make sure to pick it up from the kiosk in the tower if you haven't already. We're already leaning heavily towards a glaive meta, and with Bungie's desire to make the newest weapon archetype more popular amongst the player base, it really isn't beyond the realm of possibilities that the Edge of Concurrence gets the Arc 3.0 treatment. The Witch Queen exotic hunter glaive from the Wellspring activity already got a huge buff recently, and the Lightning Seeker is one that could already be set up perfectly for Arc 3.0. Given that the Warlock Solar Glaive goes hand in hand with the healing meta, and the Titan Void Glaive provides a Void Overshield, the Chain Lightning from the Edge of Concurrence's charged Arc Shot will probably be the same with the upgraded Arc Strider terms. I highly expect the Chain Lightning to offer some sort of ability cooldown buff or character stat boost when applied, and it'll probably become as popular as, if not more so than Volatile Rounds and Scorch that we've seen recently from Void and Solar respectively. If you're going to hunt this down, be prepared for a slog in the Wellspring activity to unlock the exotic pattern for it, but once you do, it'll be ready to go and electrify your builds next season. As we all know, Lee Splendor had some pretty hefty reworks in the short amount of time that it's been with us. Because of this, it's now a Solar 3.0 mainstay, granting near immortal levels of survivability for Titans. The group boots also came out alongside it, offering a similar synergy for Warlocks with Void 3.0 by granting Devour when using your Rift. So what was the other exotic that completed this trilogy of new Witch Queen exotics? I could be way off the mark here, but I think that Blight Ranger is set to be at the very least updated with Arc 3.0 next season. It's already been disabled for a length of time thanks to a damage glitch, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got a full rework like Lee did to bring it in line with the new Arc 3.0 terminology. Instead of just increasing damage on block projectiles from the Whirlwind Guard super, maybe these will add a chain lightning damage effect or even stun enemies. I honestly can't see an exotic helmet that is really ridiculously good looking waiting in the wings for too much longer, and I think that we might just be seeing a lot more of the Blight Ranger next season. If you're truly fed up of Solar 3.0 and can't wait for the Arc update, check out this ultimate boss melting snow globe Stasis Titan.